Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger, and it's time for us to take a look at another champion build video. Today I'm playing as Miss Fortune as our AD carry in the bottom lane. Gonna be down here with Leona. This game's gonna have a lot of regular time because it's not that long of a game, but I thought I'd show you guys this because I know a few people have been interested in Miss Fortune. So we'll go ahead and get this build taken care of. This is probably gonna be the last build that is in spectator mode if you're wondering about why a couple builds have been in that. But LOL replay is broken forever, it seems. So we're going to have to change builds in the future coming up. But I still have a handful of replays that still do work. But nonetheless, builds will be changing on how they look. So this will be a fun transition period for us. Anyway, so starting off with Miss Fortune. Going to go heading to bottom lane as our carry, like I said. Going to start with a longsword and 2 pots at level 1. Don't really have to start with boots and pots unless you want to have an extra pot. But you can start longsword and pots. It's kind of a new thing a lot of people are doing. Plus, it's a lot easier to do with Miss Fortune because you're passive, which is your strut, which you passively get move speed when you're not in combat or at least taking damage or however you want to put it. You can get up to an extra 70, and it's very, very nice. As you can see, you'll see the hearts start to flutter behind me, and I start to get my increased move speed. So don't really need boots at level 1, which is nice. So that's what we start off with, and that's her passive. Her Q ability is her double up, which, when you shoot it, you do fire a shot that deals damage, and then there's a second piece that breaks off as long as someone's in range, and that next shard that breaks off will deal 120% or 120% of the damage that the first one did. So the back shot is the one that really hurts. So what you really want to do with this ability is you do take it at level 1, or at least I do. It does deal some good damage, but you try to ricochet it off of a minion towards the enemy, or off of an enemy into another enemy, like that, where I just did onto him. You try to ricochet it when they're directly behind. It takes a little bit of time to get used to. It does take just a little bit of time to kind of get the hang of it and know when you can do it. It's very smart to sometimes hold on to it when they are retreating, and the carry then starts to get between you, or it gets between their support, and then you can bank the shot off the support, and if it lands to the carry, then it'll deal the extra damage to the carry. So it's something you'll figure out over time. Hopefully you'll get to see me use it coming up. We're trying to get a quick first blood right here, and our Elise will be able to. I'm going to pick up the assist, so that's going to help me out quite well early on in this game. And yeah, so that's what we have going on for us down here. Not too much of this game is sped up, just most of the slightly boring stuff and backing parts. So like I said, this game's not that long, so we will see what's going on, and I'll cover the things in depth as the game goes on. Next, we do have her W ability, which is, in fact, her... What is her W ability? Her W ability is her Impure Shots. Passively, when you put points into this, you're going to do magic damage on your standard attacks, just a little bit. And then when you activate this ability, you're going to get increased attack speed for 6 seconds, and it's going to reduce their healing effects on the enemy champion that you're shooting. So, kind of a nice thing to level up. This is one nice thing about Miss Fortune as a champion, or as a carry. You do not need to technically build lots of attack speed early on because you have some passively when you do activate that ability. So it's nice that you have some built in. So it's one thing you don't have to immediately do. So you can start building items. As we can see, when I did go back to base, I did pick up a Brutalizer, and that's going to be a really good first item to deal some damage, give me some cooldown reduction, and give me some armor penetration. So it's a really good first starting item on Miss Fortune. If you're in lane, though, for a very, very long time at the very beginning, and you can buy a BF sword as your first trip back, go ahead and do that. That's going to be a smart move to do, but nonetheless, this is sometimes a little easier to do and still really worth it. So that's what I've done. Next, we're going to look at her E ability, which is Make It Rain. You can see me throw that down. Bullets kind of fall in that cone circle from above, and it's going to slow any enemy champions that pass through that, and it's going to deal some damage to them as well. Kind of nice to get away or at least slow somebody down, especially while you're ulting. So, covering her ultimate, which is called Bullet Time. 8 waves of bullets are going to come from your gun out in that cone shape. It's going to deal physical damage. It scales off of... actually, it does mixed damage? I can't remember. It does scale off of AP a little bit, and it does scale from your attack damage. It's really good early on in the game. It's something you definitely want to use. One reason I like to play MF with certain champions bot lanes, such as Leona. Leona has so much CC that when I ult, I know Leona can keep them stuck in my ult, and they're not going to be able to get out. So when it comes to having matchups with kind of trying to get good supports for your carry, I would highly recommend Leona with MF or other champions that have a lot of crowd control, so you're able to use your ultimate and they really can't get out of it. So that is one thing I would recommend. So you're going to see this happen multiple times this game. Leona's going to go in for the initiate. She's going to stun their carry in place or their Taric, and I'm going to open up with bullet time as my first main thing and get all of those bullets to do that massive damage that it will do. So we will see that coming up shortly, and that is going to be happening. So we're doing all this with Miss Fortune. We're farming our lane all right, I would say, for the most part. Can't really specifically see in this mode, but nonetheless, we are farming down here. And our Leona is kind of negating them from coming out and farming a little bit. I'm trying to avoid them. They do have a very strong team down here as well. The Taric situation is always strong because it's Taric. And then the Urgot is always strong as well. So here comes the initiate. I'm going to open up with bullet time. He's just going to melt inside of all of her damage that he's taking from her, and especially inside that bullet time. So pretty easy way for me to pick up a kill. That's what we always try to do at level 6 whenever I'm with Leona bot lane. So here I'm just going to go for this turret a little bit, start to work it down a little bit, but we're going to make sure we keep farming and make sure we have gold. And we do have an advantage right now. Leona's going to go in. I get stuck on minions for a second. I'm going to ignite him though and pick up that kill quite easily. Leona did tank that a second longer than she needed to, but nonetheless, that is going to happen for the most part, and we're going to move on. Or at least Leona's going to move on and go buy items. I'm going to, I think, join her as well, maybe pick up some more items now that I have some more gold, and we can continue the build as normal. Now that I'm back at base, I'm going to go ahead and just buy my boots outright because the increased attack speed is going to be nice, and chasing now will be even better. And I'm also going to pick up a Vampiric Scepter, which is going to definitely help me out in lane with sustain, give me a little bit more damage. And just a good item to get because that will be building towards my later on Bloodthirster. Not the first item I usually pick up, but if you can pick it up first, you can do that if you were farming so well that you did get that BF sword the first time back. I am farming because that's what we do. A moon was coming down here, which is always fun. And yeah, that's what we're doing for now. As for your skills, though, that I was talking about and what order you would like to max those out in, I usually max out my Q ability first because it's got great pick in lane and it's great for ending people when they run away, as I said. Next, you're going to want to make sure you max out your impure shots so you have that increased attack speed. It's just really, really good to have, especially when you start to get into fights. So, impure's next. And then finally, your make it rain is going to be the last thing you're going to want to level up. It's good for having it, but nonetheless, it's not a main damage dealer, and if you only put 1 point in it, it's going to do the slow that it needs to do for you to get away if that's what you're using it for, or slow them down. So, and then obviously you're going to be taking your ultimate at level 6, 11, and 16, max that out, and do the damage that it does. Now, one thing I will say about that is, late game, that's not going to be as amazing in a team fight, and you might not want to use it in a team fight. Your standard attacks will be dealing more damage than your bullet time, so unless you can open it up early in a team fight and get the damage off with all of them in it quick, it can be tough late game, but like I said, this is just kind of another skill to learn early on, and you'll get the hang of it, and you'll kind of point your code in correct areas, so when they try to evade, they won't be able to get out. Here, that was not the perfect direction to aim it, but nonetheless, that's going to be good enough to pick up another kill and to continue wailing on bot lane. So, doing pretty good. Taking some damage from the tower, unfortunately. Going to keep pushing this lane, though, as we can right now. Don't forget to also use your impure shots to, you know, activate it and get that increased attack speed while you're attacking towers if you want to do that. So, got all types of stuff going on. Just kind of poking at the Taric a little bit, too. Because then if his carry comes back and we get into another fight, one of them will be low, and we will have the advantage as well. There I did ricochet another little bullet off with my double up, ricocheted off. We do have Sejuani showing up, although Leona's a tank, beyond all tankiness, so is Sejuani. We're going to get stuck in that ult, but it wasn't really necessary for her to use that. We're going to get into a little bit of a fight down here. I'll flash and pick up a kill on the Sejuani. So, nice little kill there. Sejuani committed to a fight there that she didn't need to start at all because neither or both of them were going to fight that, so they didn't have their Urgot around, so don't know what she was doing initiating that. This time back at base, I did pick up that Ruby Crystal, which will be going and teaming up with that Brutalizer. I am building a Black Cleaver. It's a good first item on MF. I wouldn't recommend it on every AD carry as their first item, but I do like it on her. It's going to be very nice to get, so just something to remember. It's just a personal choice. Like I said, though, if you did get such a good start in lane farming and getting kills, it's never a bad idea to get a BF sword first if you could afford it and just build towards that. I am going to open up with the ultimate there and deal what damage I could before he got out of my range. I do believe Elise is going to pick this kill up, though. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Nope. Elise got to retreat. I'm going to slow down Taric, and he is going to get stuck there. and the Elise will make the escape for now until Viger shows up, if that's going to happen. Uh-oh, look out. I'm going to keep fighting, though, obviously, because I do lots of damage at this point. I am going to kill the Tark, just standard attacking to death. Sejuani has showed up, and the mid lane Viger has come down here as well, so we're going to back off for a split second. He's going to try to do what he can. But I did pick up another kill. Unfortunately, Elise did die, but my standard attacks are quite strong, especially when you do activate your impure shots. You get just that attack speed starts to really help. I'll pick up another kill there as well. I don't know what number to kill. I'm dominating however many kills that is. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm dominating, which is nice. We're doing good work against this team, to say the least. Now, as for runes, I like to go with AD marks, armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and attack damage quintessences. At level 1, with that longsword, I think you're going to have 79 attack damage with the mastery page as well. So, pretty good at level 1. You do a lot of damage, and your double ups are going to really hurt at level 1 or really early on in the game. So, that's what I like to take early on in the game. It's going to be very, very helpful. And then, as for the masteries page that I do like to go with, it's, you know, kind of your standard 22-8, 21-9. Pretty simple stuff. If you want to see my masteries pages, they are all listed on my Facebook page. Just search on Facebook or click the link below in the description. TheAngryHoneyBadger and all of my mastery pages are on there under the photos. So you can go check that out if you're interested in what my mastery page looks like, where all the slots are at, and where you want to put your points. But that also comes down to personal preference. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Here we're going to get another fight. I'm going to open up with some more bullet time. Pick up another kill on the Urgot and get to the godlike situation. Really strong lane, these two down here. We're going to get into another little fight. Amumu's going to move in as well. I'm going to pick up another kill on the Tark. And now I am, in fact, legendary. And I don't even have a real full item yet. So Miss Fortune is a really strong carry currently. Even after her little tweak they just did, I still think she's incredibly strong. So she is really good, but like I said, takes a little bit to get a hang of, but nonetheless, she's kind of straightforward too. You'll just figure out how you want to use your double up to get the maximum amount of damage out of that and when to use your bullet time successfully. Now, I did finish off that Black Cleaver, and I did pick up a BF sword. That BF sword would go with that Vampiric Scepter, become a Bloodthirster. This game's going to end before I even get to any of this stuff, which is kind of how it's been going for Miss Fortune. I don't think I've lost a ranked game with her yet. I've only played her like 4 or 5 times, but nonetheless, haven't lost a ranked with her. So we do have that going on right now. And those are my first 2 main items and my boots. So you'd have your Black Cleaver, your Bloodthirster, and your boots. Then after this point, some people would start to address attack speed, but you still don't need to because of your passive impure shots when you activate it. So after that, you're actually going to go for an Infinity Edge, which is going to be great for even more damage and awesome crits. Finally, after that point is when I start to contemplate whether or not I need the survivability aspect of my build, or if I can start to build my attack speed. And I'll go over both of those and what that means to me and what I will be getting for those items. When it comes to attack speed, on some of the champions that I think have longer ranges, especially longer than Miss Fortune, I think it is important that you can sometimes do Runan's Hurricane, but not on Miss Fortune. I'm going to continue to get things with more movement speed because that's awesome on her. I think, am I going to die? No, I'm going to live, obviously. Instead of getting that Hurricane, I'm either going to get a Phantom Dancer or a Static Shiv. Both of those are going to be great choices. And if you want to do a Static Shiv and know you're going to build towards that and build towards it early, you can pick up the early part of that and get some more gold over time while you are farming with that Avarice Blade. So that's one way you can do it. Those are the 2 attack speed items I would highly recommend. So that's what you want. Now when it comes to survivability, at this point in the game, after I would finish off that Bloodthirster and IE, I'd have those 3 done. If you want to start, or those 4 done, sorry. If you want to start getting some more survivability and just become even better that way, the 3 survivability items I will recommend, and this is for all carries really, if you want to go with a Warmogs later on in the game, that is not bad because you start to get so much health that it is very helpful. You just can't get picked apart in 2 hits. So that's one thing you can do. A Guardian Angel is usually always my good go-to. It's a really good item. It's going to give you that armor and that magic resist, and it's just definitely going to help you out in the long run as a carry. And when you do get focused, if they have to move on to someone else on your team, you're going to come back to life, obviously, and start to rain hell on them all over again. And then if their team, for some odd reason, if you want to go with this survivability item, and maybe ditch out on your attack speed because you're going to deal so much damage with your standard attacks. And like I said, Miss Fortune has this built-in attack speed, which is really nice to have. If you want to go with a Mercurial Scimitar, it's going to be a great item to pick up, especially if they have tons of CC and a ton of AP damage. So if they have like an Alistair and a Karthus and a Taric on their team, and you're just going to get CC'd into the ground, and you're going to take a lot of AP damage probably, it's probably not a bad idea to pick up a Mercurial. That's just all kind of comes down to situational, depending on who you are up against. Here we have some retreating going on. Amumu's going to move back in. I can move back in here as well, open up a full time, just destroy that Viger, and then I can standard attack this if I really want to, because I have enough damage and attack speed that I'm going to be able to blow up Sejuani, although Leona's going to pick up the kill, and I'm going to be able to kill Taric. So I got 10 kills right now. I have 0 deaths and a handful of assists, so Miss Fortune is a very strong champion, as you can see, especially when played quite well. You'll get great results with her. At this point, they're going to go ahead and surrender the game. Can't really blame them, but this is usually what happens when I'm playing her. As I said, guys, I have everything listed in the description, but a 2-minute build of this will be coming up in a few days, and other than that, I guess I'll just see all of you in the next build video.